Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. And I'm here tonight talking on Monday, January 9th, 2022. I'm live both on Facebook and I am co-recording for YouTube. So welcome. And if you guys haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead over and subscribe to that. But I am here. I'm going to be going over the astrology of this week of January 9th, 2022, all the way until January 15th, roughly. And this one is a quieter week. Last week I did a major download on you guys where I was talking about full moons and Mercury retrograde and all the different things. And I'm still going to touch on some of that a little bit. But this week, astrologically speaking, is a lot less busy, which is good. Busy sometimes is not good, in astrology. Sometimes when we get all those downloads at one time, it can be a lot. So welcome if you're just joining. And if you see me looking up and looking down, looking up, that's because I have two cameras going and I'm co-recording for YouTube. So welcome everybody who's joining live. Go ahead and comment below your astrological sign. I love to hear what sign you are and also where are you viewing from. What area of the world. So welcome. And I am here today on January 9th, 2023. I don't know if I just said 2022 or not, but 2023. And I'm talking here about this week in astrology. So there's a lot to go over as far as there's a few things to go over as far as the astrology of this week goes. We have an astrologically lighter week. We do have one big event happening, which is good news, not bad news. And then I'm also going to go over the numerology, which I kind of stirred the pot last week with you guys a little bit when I was talking about the numbers. And I thought, wow, that would make a fun video because I didn't get to really go over what all the numbers mean and what does it mean for you personally. And there's a way for you to figure that out. So I'm going to go over that again as well. So if you're just joining, go ahead and post below and like the video because that's what gets it up in the algorithm. January 9th, 2023. And so I'm just going to dive in. So today on Monday, and I'm just going to kind of go over this briefly because, it's the day of, but it's such a we had a beautiful trine today between Venus and Mars. Venus is the goddess of love. Mars is the god of sexuality. So it's interesting. He's aggression. Mars is the god of war. He can be aggression, all that. He can be passion, but he's also sexuality. So when we have the Venus and Mars, if you've ever heard that book and that expression, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. That's kind of, I think, where they got this from because Venus is feminine, more feminine archetypally, and Mars is definitely more masculine archetypally. And when the two blend together like they are today, ooh, that was nice. There's a trine, a positive trine, which is all about love and beauty and art. And actually, I had wrote about this today about how we could be inspired, our actions can be inspired by love. In other words, we need to put love into our actions. We've been a bit beat up lately, especially with Mars being retrograde for this long. And if you're go ahead and say hi, post below. Don't be shy, please, because that's what starts the algorithm, and we can get more people joining the broadcast. I just dove right in tonight, but I definitely want to make sure we get more people on so that we can spread the good word. And so if you've been feeling a little bit beat up, we've had a lot. Last week was all about the full moon, and then we have Mars retrograde, we have Mercury retrograde, we have two personal planets retrograde, which I can't stress enough to you that it is stressful to have those two personal planets kind of bearing down on us. Rosalie said, hi, it was a surprise to see me on Facebook. Yes, I'm trying to play around with different times and whatever. It's been a little hard to keep a schedule, but I'm trying to at least come on once a week roughly or so as a live. Hey, Robin, welcome. Gemini, good to see you. Rita, Virgo in Colorado, good to see you. Okay, great. So we have some people joining. We've just been having a lot of energy bearing down on us. We had the full moon and we had all these things happen. So the energy has been a little bit, we'll call it contentious, a little bit kind of roughing us up a bit. This week we have a little bit nicer energy, just like, it's a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more even flowing. It's a little bit more copacetic, if you will. So we start the week with this Venus trine Mars. Like I said, today happened, the peak of it, the height of it. It'll last for a couple more days though. So that's nice going into Tuesday and Wednesday. That's a nice astrological thing that's going on in the background. And even Wednesday, we have some like pretty nice planetary energy with just some minor things going on with the moon. But Wednesday is even a really 1-1-1, which is our Wednesday, January 11th. Shahana, oh, that's a beautiful name. Welcome, Pisces from New Hampshire. That's great. I'm so glad you guys are joining. And go ahead and hit that like button, and it starts to get this rolling. So Venus trine Mars, and by the way, that's great for love life. That's great for romance. It's great for talking to the boss. It's great for, anytime you need to sort of smooth over some rough edges. Mars sometimes can be perceived as being very aggressive. And so with Venus smoothing over Mars's rough edges, because Mars can be a bit of a ruffian, he's not a very refined sort of fellow. And so with Venus kind of rough, like smoothing over those rough edges, that's a really nice kind of thing where it sort of, so if you need to have any kind of sort of good, like if you need to talk to somebody where maybe you guys were having an argument or a fight or something, this is a good time to smooth it over. If you need a little extra help in the charm department, or making a sales pitch or any kind of thing like that, that can be very good with this Venus trine Mars. Unfortunately, we only get that one once a year, so that was today, and the peak of it, the height of it was 10:22 a.m. Eastern time. But again, we'll feel it for 2 or 3 days or so don't despair. I mean, it's going to be active in the beginning part of this week. And so, like I said, there's not much major astrological stuff going on until we get to Thursday. Thursday, Mars goes direct. Can we say, yay? Okay, Mars direct. We need some Mars direct, okay? Because I am done with Mars being in Gemini. I'm done with all this, the whole cycle. I'm in Aries. Aries and Scorpios really are feeling this. Gemini is really feeling this. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Mars and Gemini. I told you Mars is our aggression, our action, our motivation. And when it's retrograde, it feels like we take 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and it's just like we're inchworming our way through. So just to let you guys know, just to kind of go back and review what's been going on, right? Mars has been in Gemini since August 21st. Now, to let you guys know, it usually is in each sign for only about 1.5 months usually. So it's been in Gemini since August 21st, 2022. And that's a really extra super duper long Mars cycle. And it's been long because it's been retrograde. So it's been at retrograde since October 30th. So good news about Mars retrograde is it only happens once every 2 years. But the bad news is it tends to stretch for several months. So Mars retrograde started on October 30th, 2022, and it's ending this week on Thursday, 3:56 p.m. Eastern time, so 12:56 p.m. if you're out on the West Coast on January 12th, 2023. And so, yeah, we're I'm chomping at the bit for this Mars retrograde to be over. We have 3 retrogrades ending this month, and I have some good news. I told you this is going to be a good news forecast, which is, it's kind of funny because sometimes my good news forecasts don't get as much views as my bad news forecast. I don't know what it is. It's human nature or something. So I want you guys to increase the algorithm here and make sure you share it with your friend or even tag a friend if they could use some good news, because it's a lot. Hey, Kelly, welcome. Leo in Florida, Gretchen Insight. That's awesome. I love that. And so we have some good news. So good news is, I'll give you 3 dates here. So Mars retrograde ends on January 12th, like I said, just Thursday. Next week, Mercury retrograde ends because, yes, we are still dealing with Mercury retrograde. Mercury is retrograde in Capricorn until January 18th at 2023 at 8:12 a.m. Eastern time. And then we have Uranus retrograde ending, okay, and turning direct on January 22nd, 2023. And that's going to be at almost 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's on a Sunday. And then after that, this is our good news, okay? After that, we don't really have any major retrograde planets until like almost April, roughly. We're going to have this chunk of time with no planets retrograde. Now, there is going to be Ceres is going to turn retrograde, which I kind of talked about Ceres a few broadcasts ago. Ceres in Libra. She is a dwarf planet. Ceres is a dwarf planet. So we don't really like, when we talk about retrogrades, or I'm talking about major planets, there's not going to be any retrogrades between now and April. So you know how like a lot of times I'm like, don't just start anything new. Don't go on a job interview. Don't go on a first date. Like, don't, stop. Don't. Well, this is going to be the opposite. And in the next few months, I'm going to be like, it's go time. It's go time. It's go time. It's go time. So as we're kind of waiting for at least these two personal planets, Mars and Mercury, to go direct, we're waiting. It's another week and a half, roughly, then it's going to start to be go time. Uranus direct too. I mean, when the outer planets go direct, we don't feel them as sharply and as abruptly as those personal planets. Personal planets are planets that are close to the Earth. And so we really feel them much more personally and much more closely than we do the planets that are further out like Uranus. But still, Uranus is going direct. So that's a good thing too. Hans, hello, Hans. Welcome. Sagittarius, happen to know. Kim, Scorpio, Vermont, welcome. I don't know where you're viewing from tonight, Hans. He seems like you're always like traveling around. So shocking for a Sagittarius. This is going to be wonderful that Mars is at least turning direct. Now, Mars is going to continue still in Gemini. Because you know what I always say about these planets? They don't just stop and start. They don't just like go from reverse to forward. It's like a car. You can't just slam that thing, in the forward direction. If you're in the middle going reverse, you have to brake, you have to slow down, you have to stop. Stationary retrograde or stationary direct is what they call it when the planets sort of seem like they're stopping, and then they go forward. Okay, but they go forward slowly. So it's Mars is going to continue to be in Gemini all the way until March 25th. Okay, so we still have a long time of Mars in Gemini still, because remember, it's slow, but at least it'll be going forward instead of looking like it's going backwards. And I should say, for any of you who are joining that have never heard the definition of a retrograde, retrograde is a phenomena that we observe. The ancients observed. It looked like the planet was going backwards. In fact, planets don't go backwards, but because of the orbits and the way that they are in the sky, there's certain times a year that it looks like it's going backwards, and they call that a retrograde. So it doesn't actually technically go backwards. It looks as if it's going backwards from our vantage point, and that's what we call retrograde in astrology. And in astrology, it means that the planet is weakened, or it's not really functioning as it should be functioning, and it's kind of like being wonky and causing problems. And Mars is our motivation. Now we have Mercury, which is our communication, and Mars our motivation, and they're both retrograde right now. So we want them to go direct so that they can start moving in a forward fashion so that we can get our mojo back, because Mars is our physicality, it's our drive, ambition, motivation, and when we get our mojo back, that'll be good. Okay, so that's happening on, like I said, on Thursday. You can mark your calendar, January 12th, 2023 at 3:56 p.m. Eastern time. We still have another week or so to go for Mercury retrograde, but it's going to eventually go direct as well. Now, we have a lovely Friday even too. Like I said, like this week is kind of like really nice and mild. This week is a lovely Friday. The sun's going to form a sextile with Neptune at 9:11 a.m. Eastern time. Again, earlier than that if you're on the West Coast, it's 6:11 a.m. But it's really like very good for like relaxing, chilling out. I know it's Friday and you might have to work, but it is kind of more of like that might be a Friday that if you do have to work, you might want to just be outside. You might be like daydreaming out the window all day, you know, kind of thing. Like, when is it going to be 5 o'clock? You know, that kind of thing. But it is a lovely, drifty, dreamy imagination. And for sure can be very good for any kind of like music or events, shows. Like, so if you're going out on Friday night, that would be a good thing for you too. Now, so that's a minor transit. Sun sextile Neptune is a minor transit, and that's going to be on Friday the 13th. We do have a Friday the 13th. Yay! By the way, Mayan culture believes that the number 13 was very sacred. So I know that we sometimes hear about Friday the 13th and it's unlucky and the 13th floor, there's, you know, all the 13 stuff, but I always say don't delete the 13, because 13 is a very fortunate and very considered to be a very sacred number. So it doesn't matter. Friday the 13th is actually my good luck day. If any of you have a good luck day on Friday the 13th, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, Kathleen, hello. Scorpio, Sun, Venus, and Mercury. Yes, you have a lot of Scorpio going on there too. Now, the sticky sort of point this week, I guess, now the viewers will go up because I'm talking about the sticky point. The sticky point this week is on Saturday. And so we have two things going on Saturday that's a little bit of a bigger, you know, in most weeks it would not really even be that big, but because we don't have much going on, it is going to be the big news this week. Okay, so we have two things. One is we have the fourth quarter lunar cycle. So we'll be halfway at that point on Saturday, the 14th, January 14th, between the last full moon and the next new moon. That's the halfway point. And I call this the second chance full moon, okay? And that's going to be in the astrological sign of Libra. So we're going to have the sun is going to still be in Capricorn season, and then we have the Libra moon. So they're square each other. Those two, they're cardinal signs, leader and leader. It's like too many chefs in the kitchen. And so that can be a time of like a little bit of stress. If you look at the analogy of the farming, you know, this is the time, full moon is a time where you harvest all of the, you know, the fruit of your labor. You harvest from the plants. And then the second chance full moon, or what's called the last quarter lunar cycle or the fourth quarter lunar cycle, people have all kinds of names for this. And it's when the moon looks like a half a moon in the sky. So it's like, you know, it's very beautiful. And so basically what the deal is that the farmer already harvested last week at the full moon. So now he or she needs to clear the fields, get ready to till, get ready to plow, get rid of all the dead tree branches and the different things that come. And so that you can sort of map out for the following week, which is going to be on the 21st. I have more good news. Maybe the algorithm will put me up to the top now that I have more good news. I don't know. We'll see. We have a super new moon coming on January 21st. So that's going to be a beautiful new moon. And if you have manifestations you want to do, and if you want to get up and go, there's two key dates this month. And one is the 21st and one is the 24th. So if you have any kind of new thing you want to launch without looking at your personal astrological chart, because that does matter too, those two dates in particular, because remember, we've been holding back because of the retrogrades. Now you know, these different planets are going to be not retrograde anymore. So having the new moon is a great time to manifest. And the 24th, sun is going to be sextile Jupiter on the 24th. And that's another wonderful launch time. Okay. Remember I said this is going to be go time. So start to plan. Remember, retrograde, still while we're in retrograde another week or two, start to plan behind the scenes. Whoops. I just realized I have, oh no, I have no power on my, let's see here. I have to plug in. There we go. There we go. Hopefully I had no power on my iPad, so hopefully I saved it in time. And so this will be go time. So hopefully you guys can plan and use that wisely, use that time wisely, and be able to really do go, go, go for yourselves. So I'm just giving you the heads up. But in between the full moon and new moon, we have that fourth quarter lunar cycle, which is always a reevaluation. It is considered to be a stressful time, a time of maybe even crisis is what they call it, and different things. So that's happening on Saturday. And then the other thing that's happening on Saturday is Venus is in Aquarius is going to form a square with Uranus in Taurus. And so that one can bring sort of stressful or unexpected things in a relationship specifically. Venus square Uranus usually only happens 3 times a year. That's normal. This year in 2023, it's going to happen 4 times this year because, and I'm going to give you the forward, like what's coming. Venus is going retrograde this summer. Okay, so when we talk about a personal planet, Venus is for sure a personal planet. Venus is going to go retrograde in Leo between July 22nd and September 3rd. So mark your calendar, especially if you are a Leo, or if you have Venus in Leo, or any of the other important, your moon in Leo, rising sign Leo, whatever. This is going to affect all the Leos, okay, for sure. And then it's going to be square Uranus, which is in Taurus. So Leo and Taurus. And the 3 dates that this will happen again, Venus square Uranus, it's going to be this month in January 14th. And then it's going to be July 2nd, August 9th, and then September 29th. So we have 3 dates coming up where this is going to be happening in rapid succession. What this is it's something unexpected in our love life or with loved ones. So it doesn't have to be if you're like, I don't need to listen to this, I'm single. No, it's with our loved ones. So Venus squaring Uranus is thinking outside the box, thinking differently, trying to be open, trying to be independent, being flexible. Really, if you want to look for a key word with this particular transit, it's flexibility, flexibility, flexibility. And that's coming on this Saturday. And so we'll start to feel that as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll start to feel this increasing as we get towards the peak or the height of it, which will be on Saturday at 8:22 p.m. Eastern time. So Saturday night. So if you're single, but you shouldn't be on dating apps right now, I'm just saying, because Mercury and Mars retrograde, we shouldn't be on dating apps. But if you are, and if you're just starting to date somebody or you're trying to find somebody new, this is not a good time, this particular transit, especially if you're looking for stability. If you're looking for, we'll just say a booty call or friends with benefits and a fling, okay, if you're looking for that, no problem. That's what this transit's really good for. But if you're looking to strike up something that's really like solid, steady, stable, this is not your transit. So this might be a time to get yourself again off those dating apps and at least wait till Mercury is no longer retrograde. But this is basically, and we have to keep an open mind and be flexible because Uranus is sort of shocking things, surprises, erratic behavior, stuff that comes out of nowhere. All of a sudden you might get the text from the ex that weekend or whatever. I mean, there might be some crazy like thing out of left field. And that's what this transit is kind of known for. You have to kind of be open and flexible. And especially if you're an Aquarius and especially if you're Taurus, you will definitely feel this. Or if you're one of the other fixed signs like Leo or Scorpio, and there's quite a few Scorpios tonight watching, quite a few Leos as well. So if you're any one of those signs, you'll be in the heart of that energy, and that's coming, like I said, on Saturday. Is it a big, huge, major, huge, big deal? No, it's not. But it is something that could cause glitches, and especially since it's almost simultaneous at the same time of that fourth quarter or second chance full moon. they're happening almost the same time. So remember, that's a time of crisis, and then this is a glitch, and oh, there's stuff going on. So Saturday's the hot spot for sure. And then excuse me, luckily Sunday is a little bit more mellow. So we will have a nicer time on Sunday. If you guys want me to look ahead just a little bit, I'll give you the heads up next week. And I'm going to get into the numerology in just a moment, so stay tuned, please. And if you have anybody that you know wants to find out and learn more about the numerology, because I kind of left you guys hanging last week, it was a little teaser. So we're going to do some math. I brought my calculator this time because I cannot operate 2 cameras, read all the comments, look at my calendar, and do math in my head. It's just not, my brain can't hold that much. But next week, Wednesday, the sun's going to form a conjunction with Pluto. So that's, that's going to be that's a hot, sticky point there. It's the same day that Mercury goes direct, but it's going to be not a fun, that's not a fun thing. So that's next Wednesday on the 18th, January 18th. Friday, the sun moves into Aquarius. So we will be done with Capricorn season, and then we will be starting Aquarius season. So I will go over that next week. And then, like I said, that beautiful, beautiful new moon. Oh, that beautiful new moon in Aquarius, super new moon as well. And that'll be going on the 21st at 3:53 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to mark it on your calendar ahead of time. And then we also have Chinese New Year following that, and it's going to be the year of the rabbit. And you guys know I'll do that broadcast. I always do the Chinese New Year broadcast. So I will be working on that. But we're going to start talking about numbers. Okay, so I'm going to review what I went over because some of you didn't see me last week, some did. Michelle's like, I can't wait to hear about the numerology. You don't know how to feel about that. Hello, Julia, Taurus, and Lori, Aquarian. See, so we have Aquarius and Tauruses that you guys are going to be up in the heart of this Saturday thing over the weekend. So just remember, we want to remain flexible. We don't want to, I don't know, kind of like trying to hamper in or corner or pin down our loved ones at that time. They need space. We need space. We want independence. They want independence. Ooh, so that's a time where we want to watch. Okay. Let's talk about numerology. Let's talk about numbers. Okay. So just to review with you guys what I went over the last time, on the whole year is going to be a 7 year. That's what's called a universal year. So how you figure that out? 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. Okay. And that's how you reduce, they call it, it's funny, you add up numbers to reduce them. So that's a little bit of a paradox or something there. So it feels like you're adding, but you're actually reducing it down to a single digit. So that's what you're going to do. So it's a 7 year, the whole year. 7 is ruled by Neptune, which is Pisces. And so it's all about creativity. It's all about dreams and aspirations and things like that. Okay. So, but we all have, that's the universal year, but we all have a personal year number, which is our personal numerology and how we will do with this 7 year. And so how we do that is we take our birth month and our birth day and add those together, not the year, just the birth month and the day. And then that is your number. And then you add that with 7. And then whatever that ends up being, then that's your year number. Now, if the year for you, the personal year, is going to adds up, like let's say, for example, it adds up to a 12. Well, you still reduce that. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So that means your year would not be 12, it would be a 3. So I hope that if anybody has any questions about that, let me know. Some of you saw this last week. I have my calculator. This is back from when I used to work a real job, a full-time job, a corporate job. I said, Gretchen's calculator, so that nobody would take it off my desk. So anyway, that's basically what the deal is. And I say real job. If you guys know my sense of humor, some of you don't, but that was my way of saying it, was being a little sarcastic. Kelly said she's still confused. So she said her number is her month is 7, and then her day is 25. So 7 plus 2 plus 5 is 14. Okay, and then you want to reduce it even more from there. So 1 plus 4 equals 5. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to add the 7. So let's do it again. So 7 plus 2 plus 5 plus 7 is 21. 21. You got to add the universal year. I'm sorry, it looks backwards on the camera, but it's 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. So it's a 3-year. Melinda said, do you add the 3 to the 7? So you add, so it's almost like instead of your birth year being whatever it is, 1980 or year 2000, whatever your birth year is, you're not using your birth year. You're using the 7 year because you want to know how is the energy affecting you, this particular year. So you do birth day, birth month, and then plus the 7, and then that is your year. Okay, so your personal year, Michelle, is 5, she said. Okay, great. So I'm going to go over what each month, because I didn't do that the last time, and then you guys were like, wait a minute, I did all this math, and now I don't know what it means. So I have the what this correlates to, what planet and what everything correlates to. Yes, Kelly. So you are 3, and then the 7 is the universal year, and then it will be the universal year of the rabbit as well in lunar Chinese New Year. So I hope that helps. I hope if anybody has any questions, let me know. Now, here's the only caveat to this. Let's say you add up your month, your day, and then the 7. And it equals 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. Those are considered to be master numbers. So 11, 22, 33, so actually you wouldn't want to reduce a master number. Okay, so Hans said 11, 28, and he's totally confused. So you take 11, 28 plus 7 is 46. 4 plus 6 is 10. Hans. So your actual year is 1. It's a 1 year for you. I hope that helps. Do you still reduce after adding the 7? I'm not sure what that means. Nolan, I have a quick question. Why do I also see the number 420? Every time it's been, well, Nolan, the 420 has something to do with the connotation of marijuana, if you know about that. So everybody has different numbers that they resonate to and different things. So Elise, you said you have a 22. So if you have an 11 and a 22, you don't want to reduce those. And I will talk about those at the end. They're special numbers. And so they are considered to be master numbers. And if that is your master number year, you're going to have a year. I'm just telling you, that's going to be a year. That's going to be an interesting year. Okay, so let's get started. So again, you're taking your month, your day, you add them all together separately. So you do like for example, I used last time, let's say your birthday is January 23rd. So it's 1, 2, 3, right? So you take 1 plus 2 plus 3, that's 6. Then you add 6 to the universal year number, which is 7. So 6 plus 7 is 13. We don't leave 13 like that. We do 1 plus 3 is 4. So if that is the case, then that would be a 4 year for that person. I hope that helps. But you break them down individually, okay? Unless if you came to, if the number, you added up everything with the 7 and you got 11, 22, 33, 44, then you don't reduce that. You go from there. Okay, oh, cool. Jack Hoy, I'm not sure how you say that, but that is basically, you are 7 year. Okay, Nolan said he knows what it stands for. You just wanted to know why you always saw the number. Yeah, so everybody has their own personal astrological or personal numbers that they see. It could be a time basically when your angels or your spirit guides are saying, hey, that this is, the deal. just so you know, 4 plus 2, is 6, which is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Nolan, so you might be doing that because somebody's reaching out, a loved one, a deceased loved one, or somebody. But yeah, that's how angels, our spirit guides, and even our spirit team very often will reach out to us through numbers. We don't talk about that much for some reason, but that is the deal. So Lori, yes, that sounds right. 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 7. Yes, 14. So you would be a 5 exactly. Michelle, 727. Oops, 727 and 7 is a 5 also. Yes, exactly right. Yes, Michelle. So if you guys are not sure about the math, look at Michelle and Lori's example there in the comment because that will tell you exactly how to do it. They did it perfectly, and that's exactly right. Oh, Nolan, your dad passed away 4 years ago. Interesting. Hopefully that's him. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure. It could be a deceased loved one because it felt like there was a vibration of love associated with it. So hope that helps. Okay, so I'm back to numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to go through and talk about what the numbers mean and what kind of year you're going to have. And we're going to go through in succession. So, and by the way, if you want to know what your child's year is going to be like, what your partner's year is going to be like, what your best friend's year, or whoever else that you want to know, quickly do the math and then listen up because I'm going to go through what all the numbers mean, and then that way you'll know what your loved one also is going through too. So Lori, so Ashley is also a 5 year. That's awesome. And that's what your personal year is going to be. Okay, so one year vibrates to the planet of the sun. Okay, I use Chaldean numerology, which is what Linda Goodman used, and I use Linda Goodman's cards. And so and I learned about numerology from Linda Goodman. Chaldean numerology is probably the oldest form of numerology that we have that's available. And so that is the one I resonate with. It's ancient astrology, ancient numerology. And so that they have correlation with the planets again, which is why I like to use this. So a 1 year is about self-confidence, new beginnings, fresh starts. So Hans, this is your year. New beginning, fresh start. Sounds like a lot of 5s are on. Last year was a 6. Next year is an 8. So we are in a 7 year. Okay. And so this is a fresh start for whoever has a 1 year because you're starting a whole new cycle in numerology. It's a brand new baby year for you. Last year, if you are a 1, last year for you would have been quite difficult because that would have been like probably a 9 year, and that would have been hard for you. Okay. Could have been last year could have been a year of a lot of endings. Unfortunately, sometimes it can be people passing away or like losing a job or finishing up living in a location and moving and whatever. So 1 year is like, okay, now that's behind me. I finished up everything. It's almost like a full moon, those 9 years. You're just wrapping it up. And now you're going to have a new year, new you. Okay. So 1 year means you got to start fresh. You have to have a lot of self-confidence. If you can see in the picture here, that's a lion. So just sitting there being proud, and it's about having strength. It is about having confidence. It does vibrate to the sun. It does vibrate to Leo, but this is also good if you're a performer or if you want to get out there and you need to have that confidence because you just been through some stuff. Okay. You just been through it. So you have some personal strength and fortitude, and so now you can just be confident and bask in the light, bask in the glow. And this is very good for starting new ventures, new job, new location, new loves. Okay. Anything that you need that little extra bit of confidence for, that is going to be your 1 year. Okay. So I'm going to go on to the next number, 2. If this is your 2 year, people, by the way, if you guys know what your year is, write it down in the comments. So I know, because I know a lot of 5s are on, but we have a 2 here. So 2 is the moon. Now, moon years can be just that. So I don't know if you can see, but she's just trying to guide her boat by this little sliver of light. She doesn't have all the information. She's not sure where she's going, what she's doing. This can be a very emotional year. 2 years often are emotional. And so if you think about it, if you are a 3 this year, probably last year you went through a 2 year personally. And so this can be an emotional year. And so 2s are all about, okay, pairs, doing things, partnering up with another. Either could be love, or it even could be with money, or it could be with business stuff. Partnering up, think 2 is better than 1. 2 years also are very good for intuition, but when you're talking about 2 years, there can be a lot of feelings and emotions, and sometimes they can be a little bit blue. Okay, so we'll just say that. I mean, 2 years can be sometimes a little bit hard because it's ruled by the moon, and the moon is emotions, and it's not a connotation of good or bad. I have seen 2 years produce sometimes some tears, but whatever, but it's about using your intuition. See, she doesn't have a flashlight. She doesn't have GPS. She doesn't have a monitor system. She's just trying to like guide this boat she doesn't have all the information. So you got to gather a lot of information, and it's almost similar to a 7-year, two people. It's almost similar to a 7-year in the fact that both the moon and Neptune, you need more information. Okay. You always got to fact check in those years, especially because that can be sometimes if somebody's trying to take advantage or doing, some kind of shady stuff. We don't want to do any of that. What if your year is a 3-year? I haven't seen much 3s coming about. I'm looking at we have a lot of 5s, 8s, 6s, 9s, 4s. Yay. Oh, Jerry-Ann. Okay, good. Yay. You're a 1 year. That's good. Okay, so 3-year. 3 is Jupiter. Ooh, Jupiter is good. Okay, so Jupiter is all about optimism, expansion. You know what I always say? Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system next to the sun, which is a star, so it doesn't count. But it is huge. So sun years, okay, the 1, and then 3 years, these are time to expand and times to really like expand your horizons and things like that. So 3-year is definitely good for travel, studying law, studying publishing, advertising, making a trip, having an adventure, thinking outside of the box, and really just like expanding your horizons. Jupiter is associated with good times and sort of fun and, optimism and all that. Now, remember, Jupiter makes everything bigger, so we have to always say that. Jupiter years, the trouble sort of is that you can get yourself into hot water if you don't learn how to say no, because you have too much of a good thing, like too much smoking, drinking, eating, all that stuff. That can definitely be a 3 sort of problem. But with Jupiter on your side, though, usually it's good and expanding and wonderful, and you're going to expand your horizons, and definitely that's good for travel. 3s and 5s years tend to be very, very good for travel. So listen up, 3s and 5s. 4, we're going to switch to 4 now. We had a couple 4s on here. Shahana was a 4. Okay, so 4 years are Uranus years, okay? And Uranus years are interesting. They're always bringing some kind of a surprise. There's always some kind of like unexpected thing that happens. There's always some sort of shocker type of thing. Now, you guys know I like the planet Uranus. Now, the artist that made these cards, right, depicted it like something's crumbling and falling, because that can be something erratic and unstable. But it can also be really exciting. I mean, if you think about it, you could unexpectedly win the lottery. You could unexpectedly meet a partner. Now, you could also unexpectedly have a partner leave. I mean, so it, it doesn't have the connotation of if it's good or if it's bad. It's just something different. So you got to shake it up in a 4-year. You got to really shake it up. You got to really, think about, doing things differently. It's something that, 2022, let's see, what was it? 2020 was a 4-year. Okay, so if you think like the universal year was a 4-year. So if you think about 2020, and that was a little hard, I know. Yeah, shockers, right? Something unexpected, something different. Oh, a pandemic. You know, little stuff like that happened in 2020. That was the universal 4-year. So if you think about this is something that you want to like remain very open, very flexible during 4 years, but you can do, especially if you work in any kind of technology, if you work in like NFTs or I don't know, Bitcoins or any kind of like any kind of thing that's like very different, unique, a cutting edge, like let's say you're a radiographer, but you work with like a very special new kind of, you know, I don't know, x-ray machine or something, you know, that can be good for 4 years. So like think innovation, think invention, but also think you got to be very flexible. You got to roll with the punches or go with the flow and really be mindful of that. Okay, so we have the fives. All the fives are queued up and ready to go. This is a Mercury year for you. Mercurial year. Yay! 5 is all about, like I said, similar to a 3 in the fact that this is travel, traveling around, movement. So if you think about Mercury, right? Mercury is about talking, communicating, emails, you know, text messages. Now, this is really good for you if you are a salesperson, if you are, you know, a teacher, like somebody that needs to like really speak and orate, or if you're a writer, oh my goodness, I can't even think of a better year for a writer. This is good 5 stuff, okay? Being able to talk. Now, lessons in communication can be hard because, right, that's really miscommunication, right? That can be a little bit rough. And you might be feeling the Mercury retrogrades a little harder this year as well. So you want to keep an eye on that retrograde schedule, which, you know, I will always keep you guys informed, the retrograde schedule. So we're still in Mercury retrograde right now. But mercurial years are usually very busy. So if you're a 4 or even a 5, you want to watch your nervous systems as well, because you'll need to have a good, calming, grounded energy. Now, the next year is beautiful. I'm just showing it briefly because this is not pornography or anything, but that's Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. And she's a 6 year. So this is a 6 year. If this year for you, Ashley said, oh, movement, I'm already feeling it. Yeah. So Michelle Lee said that's why this retrograde has been so difficult. Yeah, I mean, that's a 5 year. So, but now if we move into a 6 year, and our friend, I can't remember his name, Nolan, I believe, was asking about the 420 time. That's a 6, right? 4 plus 2 is 6. 0 is obviously doesn't count. So the 6 number is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. This can for sure be your year if you're really looking, okay, for love and for romance. 6 years are good. Finances. Now, unfortunately, 6 years can be expensive. 6s and 8s have a connotation with money. Okay, so 6s and 8s have a connotation with money. And Venus can be a little bit pricey. She can be a little bit expensive because she is a little expensive. And so last year universally was a 6 year. Okay, 2022 was a 6 year. So if you think about universally, we all went through a 2022, and what happened? The prices got raised, all the groceries went up, gas prices went up. I mean, 6 years can sometimes be a little costly. So and so you don't want to go crazy because Venus can be quite expensive, right? She likes nice things. She likes nice hair, nice jewelry, makeup, all that. So Venus can be a little bit pricey. She likes big ticket items, Cartier, Louis Vuitton, all the beautiful, you know, beautiful things. So if you are a person who already maybe is on the edge with finances, doesn't really have that savings, don't go there. Don't take the chance because you want to conserve and save. If you are in a 6 year, because sometimes things come out of nowhere with sixes, but it is about especially if you are in a 6 year, and if you work in a creative sort of field. Almir said, yes, I just got Louis Vuitton luggage. That's awesome. So if you're in a 6 year, it can be very good for creativity and love, like I said. So if you're an artist, a painter, a photographer, any kind of thing with beauty, an influencer, whatever you are, 6 is your year if you're in the creative field. That can be very good for you. And like I said, if you're looking for love, 6 years can be good. That was our universal year last year. Okay, so 7. What if it's a 7 year and you are a 7? Okay, what if it's a 7 year and you are a 7? And so it's like the same astrologically. Now, what I know is that if your month and your day and you reduced it down means it was a 9, because 9, it has a magical quality. And we're going to talk about 9 last. 9 is a magical number. Chaldean numerologists and all the different numerologists around the world always feel that 9 is a magical number. So, and because whatever you add 9 to, it always reduces down to that number. So 9 plus 7 is 16, right? 1 plus 6 is 7, right? So you are a 9. That means that part of your life path number is a 9. So basically, you are basically a 7 this year. The 9s are all 7s. I happen to be a 9 as well in numerology. So my year is 7. So this is a Neptune year. This is the year of creativity, like I said, but we also have to be careful because we might not be seeing things clearly. It's similar to that 2 vibration with the moon. And so Neptune, we have to make sure we have a lot of clarity. Now, the good side to Neptune can be miracles. It's serendipity. It can be like aim for the sky, because it's, like Neptune is very, very, very good for manifesting. Very good. So if you think Pisces, you think Neptune, that's manifesting. By the way, I didn't say this, but the last Venus, she was Libra and Taurus. And Mercury is Virgo and Gemini year, which is a 5 year. Okay, so this is Pisces year. This is a full year of Pisces energy for us 9s. And so we're in it. So it's very good, again, if you're creative, just like a 6 in a way. If you're a creative person, you work in a creative field, you're very good at imagining things, this is your year. And especially film. And it's funny, Neptune has an association with film and mirrors and cameras. So if you are a social media person, if you're doing, I plan this year on doing a lot of reels and talking to you guys on camera here. So that'll be good. Oh, Kelly, you have a Neptune is on your natal moon in Pisces. So yeah, so you have this energy already full time. So this will be like, I got this, this is nothing. So that's Neptune, but we want to be very careful with signing contracts this year, or getting into love relationships, or any kind of that we're seeing things clearly. If you have a trusted professional in your life, or if you have a trusted friend in your life, or any kind of person that can overlook or just take a double look at whatever, like if you have paperwork or important things to do, that is very difficult. Oh, thank you. Rita said I am magical. Thank you. The 9s are magical, I feel. Okay. All right. 8 year. Ooh, this is Saturn year. Sorry, Capricorn. Saturn and Capricorn year, which means things could be a little hard. This is a work year for you. If you're an 8, your 8 year, this is a work year. You're going to be working. I'm sorry to say this. Not much is coming easy, because next year you're sort of, if you think about 9 is done, 9 is the completion, 9 we're wrapping up everything. 8 is like the final push, like, oh, we got to push this and we got to really get it and nail it and get our, all of our facts, our data. 8 years are very good for property, for for real estate because you think something real, something tangible that we're working towards, something that you can see. And so 8 is definitely a financial year, because usually when you think of work, you think of money, because most of us work for money. Most of us, not just because I really wanted to work today. It's because you need some kind of financial thing, right? So 8 years are all about money, but also think financial planning for 8 years. So 8 years are good for meeting with a financial advisor, a tax accountant, an attorney to make a will or some kind of thing. Like in other words, really doing foundational work around your money, your finances. But I will just say this, and I can't even sugarcoat it. It's Saturn. It's a Saturn year. So that means it's going to be a little bit of a harder year. I'm sorry to say. 8 years usually are roll up your sleeves, get business. You got to get some grit and some fortitude. And that you might feel a little bit like your feet are going through the mud or through molasses. That's because you're finishing and you're almost, it's like, I always say the hardest part of any race is when you can see the finish line all the way down there, but like you're not there yet. And so you're almost done. You're almost done this cycle, this numerology cycle. It goes 1 to 9. And so you're almost done this cycle. So 8 is like you're 3/4 of the way through the race. And so it's a little bit hard, and it takes that final push. It's, you might be like, oh my God, I'm almost there, So that's your 8 years. But think about commitment. Think about buying property or getting a loved one to commit. Sometimes people get married in 8 years. Sometimes people get engaged in 8 years, because it's like about what is solid. I need something I can count on. And if you have like fair weather friends or somebody that's not, they're going to be out the door on an 8 year, because you want solid. And I think every year should be like that personally. I mean, I have to, also listen to my own advice with that, but I think every year should be like an 8 in that way, where we don't waste our time. This is not about wasting time. This is about just like cutting through the BS. Last but not least, we're in a 9 year, and I told you we're going to go, if you're an 11 or 22, I'm going to go into that. So now the last year's 9, it's Mars. I know that sounds weird. It's like, oh, Mars is the god of war. But 9 has, in some cultures and in some numerology systems, because there's multiple numerology systems around, 9 years tend to be, like I said, it has a magic about it, because it's said to be like a culmination of all of the numbers, like kind of wrapped into one. So it's a lot. I mean, so 9 does have the sort of association with being very giving, kind, generous, caring about the world, caring about the planet, caring about, friends and family. Like 9 people tend to be very generous, very caring, and very like, I almost feel like it's almost an Aquarius sort of energy. It's like humanitarian, make the world a better place, all that. But 9s can also be doormats. Sometimes they get walked on because it's too much goodwill, and then not enough getting back. Because 9s, now if a 9 is like not having its highest expressions, sometimes 9 can be selfish, but usually 9s are usually getting walked on or like taken advantage of. So with 9 years, you have to think about, you're wrapping it up, you're in this like global year that's like a beautiful time, and you're finishing all this cycle. Now, like I said in the beginning, with 1 years, there's usually a lot of stuff in a 9 year, because you're trying to like wrap up this, wrap up that. So it's like sometimes a bunch of stuff, and it's almost a little bit like a full moon, because a bunch of stuff kind of comes at one time. 9 lifetimes are not always easy lifetimes. If your life path number is a 9, you will know this, it's not an easy lifetime. Because it's like you're in the, graduate program of life, so you're getting, it's like there's a lot going on. So if this is a 9 year for you, you're wrapping up what you started all the way back on the last 1 year. I mean, you went through all those numbers. Now you made it, baby. But you might be asked to like just give that another level of that final push and really like concluding things and wrapping things up for yourself. So hopefully that helps. But 9 years, the number 9 is almost like a blank number. It's kind of an interesting thing. A lot of cultures don't even believe in defining, like there's just a magic quality to 9 that a lot of people feel is associated with that number. So even though it's Mars, and it does take a lot of effort and energy to complete this year. I mean, like God, it's like you're right there at that finish line. Now it's the sprint, you're at the end and you got to really sprint your way through. That's your 9 years. So you're going to have a lot of fortitude to get through the 9 year, but you can do it. You can do it. So I don't know if anybody else, did anybody have an 11, 22, 33? Please put in the comments below. I'd love to hear that. Okay. So remember when I said there's an asterisk on that. If you're 7 plus your month and your date, added up, not the year, just the month and the day of your birthday added up to an 11. Well, Kelly, is your birthday June 5th? That's 11, but you would do 11 plus 7, and that's a 9 year. So I don't know if that helps, Kelly. If you're June 5th, that is 11, but then you add the 7, remember? So that's 18, which is 9. Yeah, so that's a 9 year, Kelly. You have a 9 year this year. But if your numbers added up to 11, Jacqueline said her son's at 33. Oh, very special, very special. That means that this year for you will be a master year. Okay, that's a master year for you. And so that's going to be, so remember when I said 9 is like the graduate program, 11, 22, 33 is like the PhD program. Do you think that's easy or hard? That's harder, right? That's even harder. So when I say hard, it means it has a special asterisk because it's going to take some fortitude. So if you take 11 and reduce it, 1 plus 1 is 2, it's going to be like the moon, only extra, right? Or if you do 22 is a 4, which is Uranus. So that's going to be extra. It's going to be like you're in the PhD program. 33 is 6, which is Venus. That's going to be extra. In other words, it's going to be those base life lessons, the 2 or the 4 or the 6, but it's going to be even more, and even, like I said, in even PhD programs, because if your life path number is those, and when I keep referring to life path number, if you guys are new to numerology, that's when you add up your entire birth date, including the year. And that's your full-time life path number. Yes, you reduce those. So Melinda said her grandson's 11/29, right? Which is 22. 22 plus 7 still means he's having 20 is equal to 29. So he's having an 11 year this year. Your grandson is having an 11 year. So yes, you do reduce those. So he was born 11/29 plus 7, okay, is 29 actually. And that's the 2 plus 9 is 11. So Melinda, if that helps, that's your grandson. He's going to be a moon with the base of the moon year, which is emotional and like, all that stuff. By the way, moon is tied with mama too. I should have said that, but two is tied to mama. And then basically it's going to be the PhD program. So for a little baby, he's going to have this is a hefty year for him, spiritually, emotionally. So the number 11 sometimes has a connotation with it of like separation, feeling separated. If you think about the number 11, one's here, right? There's a little bit of a separation. So he's like learning the lessons of being on his own a little bit. And I know he's got a caring mama and grandmama, but he's going to be a little bit on his own. And there's a little bit of that. The number 22 is kind of like, similar to the 4 with Uranus, only you got to really watch that because there could really, like I said, be something out of nowhere that really is like a big spiritual life lesson. So 11 years, 22 years, 33 years, talking about your personal year, could be could be very like I said, the PhD, and it's going to be, there's going to be extra. So Kelly and Elise are very confused. I don't know why. I've been explaining it. So go back in the chat and see there's two examples that were given both by Ashley and by Michelle a little bit earlier on, that tells you how to do it, how to do the numbers. Yeah, so that would help you. But you are adding up your birthday plus the month plus adding 7, and then whatever that ends up being. If it's a single digit, great. And if it's a double digit, you add those up together, and then that is your personal year. So I hope that helps. I've explained it a couple times. I don't know how else to explain it, but there's a couple of people on here that really put great examples where you can look at the sheet and really see what the deal is with it. So Kelly, I hope that helps answer your question, and Elise helps to answer that. Melinda, you think his number is 8? Yeah, you'd have to add up the year as well and see, his birth, to get his full life path number. And I can't do that for everybody that's on camera right now, but just know that is whatever number it is, month, day plus 7 is going to be whatever personal year that you're going to have as far as your numbers go in your numerology. And I hope that helps. I hope it didn't create more confusion. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I am going to pull a card because I think this broadcast has been going on kind of a while now. If anybody had any questions, let me know. Oh, he's 8 years old. Oh, got it. Melinda, now you're confusing me. Oh, Kate, yeah. Well, what's your month and your day, Kate? And I'll help you because you have a challenge there. What's your month and day? And then I'll do the thing. Kate replied, yes. Kate replied to Michelle. That's great. So Kate, are you July 27th? So you would be a 5. Kate. Oh, sorry. You're March 9th. So 3 plus 9 plus 7 is 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So Kate, you are a 1 year. And so go back, Kate B in Vermont here, go back and rewatch the broadcast because I went over what it means to be in a 1 year. This is your personal 1 year. Not everybody's having that, just you. And Hans too on the broadcast is having that. Oh, Lavender, you're having an 8 year. Wah, wah. You got this, girl. You got this. You're welcome, Kate. I hope that helps. So if anybody has any questions, but I'm gonna pull, what do we need to know about this wonderful week that we have ahead of us? What do we need to know? You're welcome, Kate. If any of you like this, go ahead, like and share with your friends. It's funny, there's little stars that you can give me if you have I think it's like a tip or something. I don't even really know how that works, but, yes. And Ashley, so you just continue. Wah! Yes, exactly. So you continue through the years over and over again. So next year is going to be an 8 year. So, right, 2024 adds up to 8. So it goes each year. Exactly. And then you do the same thing. You can add up. So I'm giving you tools here. So you don't have to rely on other, people or magazines or something. You can look at this stuff yourself. I'm going to have to bend over because I just dropped a whole bunch of cards. But yes, so globally, next year is going to be a Saturn year for everybody. Yikes. So this year's a 7, Neptune. Next year's a Saturn year, which is going to be an 8. Yes. So you're welcome, Ashley. She said, awesome. Thank you. Lavender said, busy. It will fly by. You will be very busy by the end of this year for sure. So what do we need to know about this week? What do we need to know with all this astrology and numerology and fun stuff? Yeah, what do you need to know? I love empowering people, helping them to be able to figure out so they know. And like I said, after the broadcast, if you have a, you know, husband, wife, partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, lover, whoever, child, grandchild, cousin, boss, whoever you know that you want to figure out what their number is and what their year is going to be like, you do the same process with their birth, and you know, you have to have their birth date, but you would do the same process with their birth year, the day, the month, and then +7, and then that'll be their personal year, and then you can listen to the descriptions if you'd like. All right, everybody, I'm going to do one card. What do we need to know? What do we need to know? What do we need to know about this week? Oh, nurture ourselves. Nurture ourselves. You know what? We had a hard last week. Almir said, my whole life is an 8. Yes. Rita's whole life is an 8 as well in this broadcast. I know she's listening. She doesn't know her numbers, but I know her numbers. Rita's number's an 8. So yeah, if you have 8 as your life path number, but also it could be that you're good at, like, you know, you're figuring out things and you're setting up a good foundation. This is a foundational lifetime. You're setting up foundational stuff. Ashley said last week was rough. Cecilia, no, you did something wrong there, Cecilia. You don't do 54. If you're talking about your birth year, you do 1954. You don't do 54. That's an incorrect one. Rita said, yes, I know my life is an 8. Naomi, Mercury retrograde is no joke this time. Yeah, so we're getting, like I said, you know, I said this last week before probably, Mercury retrograde, but Mars retrograde too. A lot of people don't understand, but Mars retrograde is our physicality and Mercury retrograde is our mental. So we have mental and physical, like, blah right now. Like, it's getting like, and then we have the full moon on top of that. So we have to nurture ourselves. Investing time in self-care now will yield more energy for you later. This is nurture yourself, Archangel Gabriel cards. Because this has been very hard on our nervous system. We definitely had full moon. We have all these retrogrades going on. I can't wait for this Mars retrograde because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it's like, oh, it's like feeling yucky. Oh, Roz, thank you. Roz gave me some stars. I really appreciate it. It's kind of a fun thing. Thank you. But with all these retrogrades, we just feel like a little depleted and we just feel a little so we need to invest in some self-care. Look, we only have a week or two left of these like the hard retrograde stuff. So yeah, so we will definitely. Okay, so Kate is asking for a prayer request for her mother is going in for a biopsy tomorrow. So we're going to send Kate's mama lots of prayers. Reiki, if there's Reiki people on, I know there's a few Reiki people that are watching. I know that Kim and Lavender and probably some other people are Reiki people, can send Kate's mama some prayers. And if you don't know Reiki, it's okay. Just send good thoughts, send prayers to her mama, okay, for good completely negative biopsy, completely negative, nothing. It's not even, and we couldn't even find it. It's not even there, nothing. We'll just like cancel glare. All right, so everybody nurture yourselves. And again, if you want to know more about this numerology, go back, listen to my broadcast. And definitely look at some of the math that people were doing, and then you will be able to see kind of how the numbers go. But thank you everybody for watching. As always, like and share if you want a personalized astrological session. Feel free to send me a text message and I can go ahead and schedule that for you. And also go ahead and subscribe to my Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All right, everybody. Happy 2023. Bye.